So I'm calling your church to test to see if they feed a starving baby. And right now I'm calling West End Baptist Church in Clanton, Alabama. And their about me says a church whose heart beats for people. So please, because I've had like 4 no's straight in a row and it's depressing.
Hello, you have reached West End Baptist Church. Please press 1 for the church office. Press 2 for the daycare. Thank you, and have a...
West End Baptist Church, this is Mandy.
Hi, I was calling to see if y'all by chance had any like baby formula.
We do not. We don't keep anything like that on hand. You might could call DHR. Sometimes they have access to stuff like that. They might could give you.
Yeah, I already tried there.
They don't have any either?
No.
Um,
Yeah, I've tried like everywhere. Everybody's telling me to call churches for help.
Are y'all on WIC?
Yeah, I've already tried to get on WIC and I can't get approved, so I'm just trying to see if there's any way like you all could just supply like a small can of baby formula.
Yeah, we don't have the means for that.
Hello there, villagers. Welcome back to another video here in Stacy's Random POV. And of course, I had to bring you guys this video about this creator, Michaela, who is on TikTok and is going completely viral for her social experiment. She is calling different churches at random places in the United States. I believe she gets requests from the viewers from the previous video, and she goes on and Googles the churches. It is a very beautiful thing, in my opinion. In this video, you are gonna see a couple of more videos in her channel. Of course, don't forget to go check her out. And if you've gotten this far, again, make sure you like this video so that other people who like and enjoy this type of topics will have access to this video. So she calls different churches under the guises of being a single mom, a mother of a 2-month-old who is starving and ran out of formula. She's not asking for money. She's not asking for donations. She's literally just asking for a small formula because of this government shutdown, and there is no food stamps at all for people to go to the supermarket and buy this formula to the children. As we know, religion and churches altogether, I should say churches, are tax exempt for the very reason that they are supposed to be out here helping the people where the government falls short. Okay, so here we are. She's making this social experiment, and I brought you guys some more videos, so check this out and I'll be right back with the rest of my commentary. But first, before we get into the video, check out my intro and I'll be right back.
Cupid doesn't lie, but you wanna unless you give it a try, give it a try. But you wanna unless you give it a try. Hey, girl, if I tell you I need you, that doesn't mean that I don't care.
What a...
And if I tell
Oh
you
God, it's still going.
I
Okay. Yeah.
don't you think that I will never be there here? Cupid.
Is that a real song? Is that a Drake song?
One of my favorite songs of all time.
Your songs?
Nope.
Who sings them?
112.
Let's let them sing it.
I'm so freaking pissed right now. This is bullshit.
So I'm calling your church to test to see if they would help feed a starving baby. And right now I'm calling the church in Boise, Idaho. So let's see if they would help feed a starving baby.
David.
Hi. I was just curious, like, do y'all have any like
From the best place that I know.
Yeah, I've already tried them. Like, would it be? Because I have like a 2-month-old, and we ran out of formula like last night, so she's been going all night and all day without any.
I can't get to that right now.
I'm like,
About that. Think about it.
hold on, just I gotta turn my baby off. Okay, so this is actually a social experiment where I'm testing to see if churches would help feed a starving baby if a mother called in need.
What's that?
This is a social experiment that I'm conducting to see if churches would step up to feed a starving baby.
Yeah, we've met various needs. What we usually do is we explore a little bit to make sure there's an actual need, because many times people have defrauded us, and we're okay with that to a certain extent. We just want to be careful. But yeah, even during COVID, we would deliver food to people who requested it. We'd do a little investigation just to make sure the person was legitimate. But I appreciate your calling, and I think it's a good quest you're on.
Okay, all right, thank you. Have a good day. So I'm calling your church to test to see if they would help feed a starving baby. And right now I'm about to call a Church of Christ. I don't know what that word is, and I'm not going to mess it up. But apparently it's the name of the town too, so I'm going to try just because it's the name of the town. Aloth, okay, in Kansas. Their About Me says, no, never mind. That's a Facebook review. Never mind. We're just going to call them. Let's see if they would help feed a starving baby.
The Church of Christ.
Hi, yeah, I was calling to see if maybe y'all could help with a small can of baby formula.
Small can of baby formula. You know, we would honestly love to, but I don't know if there's anyone available today to be able to meet you to be able to do that. Our treasurer that takes care of all that, his wife is in the hospital, and he's not available right now. And I'm actually on a trip in Topeka, Kansas. So I apologize, but we're not going to be able to help today because we just don't have anyone there.
Okay, like there's nobody that could help us. I mean, she's only 2 months old and she hasn't eaten since last night.
She hasn't eaten since last night?
No.
Okay. Let me see here. I'm trying to think if there's somebody there that I could call. Where are you located at?
I'm like 10 minutes from your church, I think.
10 minutes? Okay.
Yeah.
You're there in Olathe then?
Yeah.
Have you tried to reach out to, I'm going to give you the name of another church in the area that might be able to help you. The First Christian Church in Olathe, I'm not exactly sure where it's at, but they have, I think, a food pantry that they...
Yeah, I already called them. They didn't have any baby formula.
They didn't have any baby formula. Okay. Have you tried Lift Up KC?
Ew.
Okay. Let me see. I'll have to make a few phone calls, and then is the number that you called on a good number to call you back?
Yes.
Okay. Let me make a few phone calls and see if I can get a hold of somebody, and then I can call you back and let you know if we're able to help.
Hold on just 1 second, okay? Let me turn my baby
Okay.
off. Hold on just 1 second. Okay, so this is actually a social experiment that I'm doing to see if churches would actually help with a starving baby. And I know you have a ton of stuff going on and everything, but the fact that you was even still going to try to help says a lot about you and your church. So before you run off and try to do that, I just wanted you to know, like, this is a social experiment and you passed. And I just want to say that I appreciate you and just your kind heart and actually doing good deeds in your community.
Okay, so there's not actually a baby starving?
No. But no, but I love the fact that you're like, you had all this stuff going on and out of town and, you know, everything, you know, with the hospital and stuff, and you were still willing to make phone calls and try to figure something out. So it does say a lot about you. Oddly enough, which a lot of churches are saying no and just, sorry, can't help, and hang up. So it does mean a lot what you're doing.
Well, I hate to hear that other people aren't doing what they should be doing, and you know, one of the things we try to do, we try to help those that are in need any way that we can, and you know, sometimes that's not as easy as it should be, but I'm glad that in this case that there's not a need, and I'm glad that we've showed you just what we're about.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
Yes, ma'am. You too.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Okay, guys, so as you guys can see, she gives props up to the churches that go the extra mile, even though they're not open, even though they're not available in their church, do not give that kind of services. She props up the churches who actually go out of their way to help a mother within a starving baby, and that is a lot. That takes a lot out of a human being, just as a human being myself. So let's not discard those other churches, right? However, as you saw in the previous one, the volume and the voice didn't download well enough, but he straight up just said, no, we're not going to be able to help you. You call those churches and see, or other outreach programs, and see if you can get something for your baby, because I'm not going to help you. Right? I'm still going to give you guys more videos out of her page. However, I have to highlight, because when she first came into my radar, she only had got 3 yeses, which was 2 Baptist church owned by black people and 1 mosque. So I'm going to show you next the video of that Baptist church lady calling back to check her and let her know how this experiment have helped her church. So check this out, and again, I'll be right back.
And I can get your baby her food. So, but okay, I'll see you later. And then you just stopped the whole thing, and I was like, okay, what's going on? What is really going on? And I don't know. I just, at first, and then the other thing, you have a beautiful name. So
Thank you.
that's just, it's beautiful. I don't know what, why, how we came up on your list, but I'm just thankful that we did.
Yeah, I just appreciate you all.
Really, really getting it. We are really, really getting it from all over, from people who do or don't believe. But,
Yeah.
you know, it is overwhelming, but more than that, it is very humbling.
Yeah, even myself, like I'm spiritual, but I don't consider myself like religious, and I don't attend church. Yeah, the Islamic church, like he messaged me earlier and he said he's got people calling him from Canada. Like, so yeah.
Canada, Germany, Australia. I'm like, what in the world?
I know, like I just seen it on TikTok today, like other people from other countries and languages was sharing them. I was like, oh my God, I can't even understand your TikTok, but they're talking about me, like, because they're tagging me. Like, it is.
I shared some of the voice messages, and I was telling some of the people that work here, I said, I'll never delete these, because we all have down days.
Yeah.
You know, these are going to be encouraging messages that I'll be able to listen to. And I'm just completely blessed by all of this. And heart still races, because, it just does. I'm like, oh, wow. So, yeah, thank you.
No, you're welcome. Thank you. Like, you all deserve it. And, yeah, just keep doing what you're doing. And I'm happy to see you all get all these blessings and these wonderful words. Like, it's awesome.
Mm-hmm. And you keep doing what you're doing, and maybe you can affect it. I just, sometimes we do need to be called out.
Yeah.
And one of the gentlemen from Arkansas, he said, you are really doing the teachings of Jesus. Mm-hmm. You're putting your feet on the ground and doing the work. And that's what we're supposed to be called to do. Yeah. So why not do it? So, yeah.
Well, I'm so happy for you all.
I'll never meet you, but
well, never say never. I'm actually only in Somerset. I actually work out of Louisville.
So as you guys can see, there is a lot of blessing in disguise happening here. all of the churches that have said yes, including the mosque, has been getting phone calls, donations, and a lot of words of praises and encouragement to the churches that were there to help in this scenario, right? And this is something that we have to look at. In this economy, in this world that we're going through, it is important to appreciate the people that are actually doing the work. And I am so glad that I'm not the only one who feels this way. As you guys can see, there are many people who were calling according to the last call. And I also have the video of the mosque who were receiving more donations and more attention, and people are interested in that religion because of what they did. However, I have to bring you guys the video of the pastor who made a reaction about this situation. And let me just tell you, people were not happy about what he had to say about the social experiment that was taking in place. So a lot of people were very upset about it. So stick around, because I am going to bring you guys reactions of other people's thoughts about what this pastor had to say. So check out this video, and don't forget to let me know in the comments down below what you guys think about this entire situation. Don't forget to put the timestamps so that we can have a proper conversation about this. And if this was one of your churches, also let me know in the comment down below, because I believe that this is something that we can all learn from. And again, subscribe so that you will become a member of this village, because you love this village, you appreciate this village, because baby, it takes a village. Don't forget to hit that like down below, post notifications on so that you are aware when I'm about to post something as interesting as this video.
There's a woman on TikTok who's doing a social experiment where she is calling churches to ask about baby formula to see if any of them will actually help them out. And she called a mosque, and they actually would help them out, while none of the churches. And this doesn't surprise me as a pastor, and I talk a lot about Muslim zakat. It's one of the 5 pillars of Islam, where Muslim communities and Muslims are obligated to provide charity to the community. Churches, they are not obligated. We hope that they're going to be able to be philanthropic and donate into their community. And my church has a food bank that I'm very proud of, but not every church has a discretionary fund. As a pastor, I have a discretionary fund, but also there's a scam going on right now in churches. My assistant this week got a text saying, "Hi, this is Pastor Burke, Pastor Tom. Can you send me the directory of the church?" Because what scammers do is they go through the directory of churches, they go through online directories, and they email and they scam all members of churches, and they say, "Can you send me a Visa gift card? Can you send me this gift card?" That is something that happens. Churches get scammed all of the time. And so if you think the response to churches saying no to helping baby formula is to tax the churches, we spend $1 trillion a year on our military, on bombing other countries. We are right now bombing fishermen in the ocean. We spend less than 1% of our GDP, less than 1% of our budget on helping poor people, on food aid, on SNAP, on food assistance. So I don't understand why people want to tax the church when that tax money is just going to the military. Churches, the money that is donated to churches as a nonprofit or charity has already been taxed. And I understand that people want people on food assistance, people who need baby formula should get that help. But taxing the churches is not going to do that. All you're going to do is take money from churches and give it to the military and give it to the government, which is not helping poor people at all. Well, if you want to reform the tax code, that's fine. I'm all about it. But taxing churches would close small churches that actually do provide local philanthropic efforts to the community, and it would do nothing to the mega churches that you really want to actually get rid of. Churches like Joel Osteen, who doesn't do anything. These churches like Mark Driscoll. If you call those types of churches, of course they're not going to help. But if you call a small town church that well, they're going to try and do whatever they can to help you. So the answer is not taxing the churches, because then you're just taking money from churches and giving it to the military.
Right, so as we can see, this pastor And you should see the comments. The comments are hilarious. But if anything, this pastor was doing was encouraging people to join the mosque instead of joining their Christian church. Right? Because for you to say that you do not have the money or anything like that, when there are people literally going every week to your church paying their tithes every time they see a paycheck in their hands, and you do not have baby formula, you do not have anything like that, and then try to advocate that churches should still be tax free because otherwise it's going to go to the military, is not a good argument. So if anything, you are helping people understand that why being a part of a mosque is better than being part of a Christian church or anything that has to do with any other religion at this point, which is very unfortunate. And as we always known, Christians love to move the goalpost when it doesn't benefit them, which is ridiculous if you ask me. Accountability goes for everybody: men, women, church, religion, dogs, people. It does not have a gender. And the fact that he is going around saying that there is a scam going on churches, a formula, a baby formula for a person that says, hey, I'm going to be there, has absolutely no saying when it comes to scams or anything in the matter. It has no correlation, right? But I'm going to continue showing you guys more of the videos that she have in her channel, and then I'm going to show you reaction of other creators and other people that have something to say about this entire experiment. Again, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I cannot wait to see what kind of conversation we're going to have about this. I'll see you guys on my next video. I hope you guys enjoy this. I am not coming back to say any more of my opinion, but I am going to give you the conclusion of my opinion. Honestly, as being born and raised in the Jehovah Witness religion, this whole church thing is nothing but a business. Okay, this is just nothing but a business and a tax exemption, which gives the government an avenue to money launder. I'm not saying that every government worker is dirty. I am just saying that the government needs some work to do when it comes to these churches and when it comes to the people that are standing behind these churches, because human beings, men or women, are imperfect, and because we are imperfect, we make mistakes and we are bound to mess things up. Again, I am a spiritual person. I am not a religious person, thank God, because I actually believe that people that are extremely spiritual lack a certain discernment of extra thought and extra thinking, especially after a pastor speaks. I am not here to try to embarrass you or try to make you feel bad about your belief. However, I am here to encourage you so that you can have an extra thought whenever someone from your church home is trying to tell you something. And obviously, as you guys see, this pastor has tattoos. He doesn't look like somebody that I would trust at all. And so, I'm not here to bash the people that do go to his church. If you do, by any means, if you trust, by any means, okay? All I'm saying is always think before you are going to put your full trust on these men and women who are as imperfect as we are. But if anything, again, if you've gotten this far, please like, share, and subscribe, and put the post notification on, because you never know when I'm going to post something as interesting as this video. And when you subscribe, you automatically become a member of this village. You love this village. You appreciate this village because, baby, it takes a village. I'll see you guys on my next video. Have an amazing rest of your weekend, and later.
So I'm calling your church to test to see if they would help feed a starving baby. And right now I'm calling Cathedral of the Rockies in Boise, Idaho. So let's see if they would help feed a starving baby.
Thank you for calling Cathedral of the Rockies. If you have an extension number, you can enter it at any time during this message. Otherwise, you can press 1 to reach the main reception desk, press 2 if you are in need of pastoral care, or press 3 if you'd like to reach our Amity campus located at 4464.
Just do one.
Good morning, Cathedral of the Rockies. This is Gail. How may I help you?
Hey, yeah, I don't know if y'all can help or not, but I was just curious if y'all could help with like a can of formula, like baby formula.
Boy, I don't see any back in our closet. We do have diapers, but we don't have formula.
Okay. Is there any way y'all could get just like a small can of baby formula?
Not that I'm aware of. No, sweetie. Sorry.
Okay, because like I have a 2-month-old and she's been without since like last night, and I've been calling everywhere, and they're just telling me to call churches.
Yeah. Oh, golly, I'm sorry. I think. Yeah, I just was back there looking at the diapers and wipes and things, and I didn't see any formula. But you know what? I know this isn't going to help you today, but I will put in a request for some, and hopefully somebody will step up and get us some. I know we've been getting a lot of food. I haven't seen any formula in the food donation that we got today, though.
Okay, so you would just have to put in a request, and it could take days to get it approved?
You know, you just never know, because it's usually volunteers who purchase it and bring it in, so it might be. Yeah.
Okay, so your church doesn't have like a budget put aside to where like I could get, because I just don't want her to go without. I mean, she's already been without, and I don't know what else to do.
Yeah, exactly. Have you gone to any of the food? Do you have access to any of the food banks?
Yeah, I've already been. They don't have anything.
They don't have any formula for babies?
No.
Oh my gosh, that's not good. Okay, let me check one more place here. Let's see. And have you already called a lot of the churches already?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Have you?
I'm sorry. What'd you say?
Have you called St. Michael's?
Yeah, I have.
Church? Because they do have Baby Steps program, which assists low-income pregnant and parenting mothers.
Yeah, I already called. I think because of the SNAP benefits and stuff like that, like they don't have anything either.
Oh, okay. Let's see here. Yeah, I'm looking at all of the churches that we have. I'm sorry, sweetheart. I do not see anything anywhere that says, there are food banks, but a lot of them aren't open today on Friday. So the only place I can think of is I don't know if you can get out there, but the Amity campus of First United Methodist Church is on Maple Grove. They might have some out there.
Yeah, they don't. I already called them too.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, but we're not getting anywhere.
Okay, hold on just 1 second. I gotta turn my baby off, okay?
Yeah.
All right, hold on. So this is actually a social experiment to see which churches would actually help feed a starving baby. And I'm just curious, are you pro-life by chance? Is this a pro-life church?
No, I don't believe so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I just find it odd that as a church, you all wouldn't have any funds set away for a mom that would be calling wanting to feed her child. But I appreciate you for answering the phone call.
Yeah, we just, women's rights are human rights, and so we support the women out there as much as we can, but this is definitely a hole in the system, so.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, well, thank you.
You're welcome. Good luck.
All right,
Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay, so we are calling the Linden Church of Christ in Linden, Tennessee.
Hello, Sandy.
Hi, I was wanting to see if y'all could help with a small can of baby formula.
Help what now?
Yeah, I was wanting to see if y'all could help with a small can of baby formula. Is this the Linden Church of Christ?
Yes, ma'am, but I am out of town. I didn't know my number was on anything, but I'll be glad to try to help you. Are you in Linden or where you at?
Yeah, I'm in Linden. I wasn't far from your church, and it just popped up on Google, and I've been calling all the resources in the area, and they're telling me to call local churches for help. But I have a 2-month-old, and she's been without since last night, so we've gone all night and all day without any baby formula. But I live off Beach Street It's not far from you. It's like 10 minutes from your church.
Okay. You say you just moved there?
Yes.
Oh, man, bless your heart. Okay, man, I wish I was in town. I'll teach you, but I don't do. I'm in Murfreesboro for the day. Beach Street. Do you have transportation?
I do.
Okay. Pardon me, I'm trying to figure out what our best way to do this. Do they have it at the local grocery store there in Linden? I have no idea.
They do. Can you hold on 1 second, please?
I have no idea.
They do. Can you hold on 1 second, please? Okay, I had to turn off my right now. I am actually doing a social experiment to see which churches would help feed a starving baby when all resources are gone. So the fact that you're out of town and you're still trying to figure out a way to make sure my baby fed just means a lot. And I just wanted to thank you.
Oh, okay. So you don't have a need right now?
I don't. Yeah, I'm doing this just to test to see who would be willing to help, and I actually get a lot of no's, surprisingly. So yeah, you're one of the few. Right now I think I'm at 7 people that said yes out of 20 and 24 that said no. So something like that.
We were glad to help. We just don't.
No. You were you were definitely willing to help even though you're far away. So I just wanted to thank you for that.
Yeah. Well, okay.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Have a good day. Appreciate you. All right. Bye. He had no clue what to say.
So I just watched a pastor's response to the video of the lady who is doing the Lord's work and calling around all of these cosplaying Christian churches and exposing them for who they really are by basically performing a social experiment to see if they will feed a newborn. And this is a pastor who I would say probably is more along the lines of a progressive sort of pastor. But you know, the thing about performative progressivism is that people really do show who they really are when it comes to how they are going to be impacted by something. And essentially what he said was that the churches are responding the way in which they are responding because they get scammed all the time. Well, vulnerable people get scammed by churches all the time. Vulnerable people get used, their testimonies, their stories, all of that stuff gets used by churches to help promote their mission work and get tithes in. But you know what? You know who doesn't receive any sort of funding or pay for getting up there and talking about how they went through a journey of sobriety and all of those things and how the church helped them? You know who doesn't receive a dime of that money? That person who's standing up there in their own vulnerability, sharing their story. And they're the person that could probably use it the most. And then he says that the answer shouldn't be to tax churches because churches, the tax dollars that they would contribute would then go to the military. And the military does war things. I mean, I about spit out my coffee because I'm sitting here listening to this guy and I'm like, are you fucking serious? Like, yeah, no shit. But first of all, our tax dollars do not go to the military. What they go to is contractors. They go to contractors who, frankly, use and abuse the system to balloon up a DOD budget that is insane. But the same military, the folks that serve live in rundown housing, all right? The bases are awful. Housing on bases is shit. I have friends whose children have lead poisoning because of the fact they live on military bases and how shitty military base housing is. So it doesn't go to the military. It goes to the contractors. So that's point one. Second of all, like, yeah, no shit. Like, nobody else, we don't want our tax dollars going to funding that shit either. That is another TikTok for another day because I used to be a former Department of Defense federal contractor, and my work in that industry led me to have a total career shift and become a social worker. So the truth of the matter, the truth that Pastor Daddy that you don't want to hear is that churches have no problem taking money from the vulnerable. But when the vulnerable come calling, they close their doors. And the reason you don't want to hear that is because of something called moral injury. Because you think that you can wrap this in some weird little moral God complex and say, look at us, our church has a food pantry. No. The real issue is, why are you all, as Christian leaders, not holding each other accountable? And just because you don't like how the truth sounds because you sound like the bad guy, it doesn't make it less true.
So I wanted to give an update on this woman who's doing this social experiment because I did a video on this, it blew up, and there are a lot of white Christians who are big mad at me. If you don't know this woman, if she's not coming across your feed, her name is Nikaylee. She's doing a social experiment where she's pretending to be a mother of a 2-month-old baby and out of formula, and she's calling churches to be like, hey, can you help? To date, she has called 39 religious institutions. 30 white Christian churches have said no to her. No to helping to feed her baby. but 9 people said yes. And 6 out of the 9 who said yes are either black or brown. And I think that is really telling. Even more telling is 1 out of the 30 who said no was Charlie Kirk's own fucking church. Charlie Kirk, who had a lot to say about black people, a lot to say about Muslim people, and yeah, his own church said no to helping feed a starving baby. And people are really mad at me because I highlighted one of the calls that she did to a mosque. Like, it's not my fault that a Muslim man was amazing and 30 Christian churches sucked. But for the update, I really want to highlight the other people who said yes. She called 3 black churches. They all said yes. She also called a Buddhist temple, and they said yes. 2 of the 9 who said yes were Catholic churches. 1 was predominantly Latine. But before Catholics get too excited, she did call 1 Catholic church, and they said no. She also called a really poor Appalachian church, and the sweet old man said yes. So 6 out of 9 people who said yes were black or brown. And I think that says a fucking hell of a lot between white religious people and black and brown religious people. Now, I'm half Indian despite looking like this, and I just know that if Nikaylee were to call a Sikh Gurdwara, they would not just say yes, they would be like, how can we feed you as well? Because if the baby's starving, the mom's starving, as somebody in my comments said. I love this social experiment so fucking much, and to Nikaylee, thank you so much for doing this.
That lady going around calling churches to see if she can get baby formula from them for her starving baby, the Lord's work. Phenomenal idea. Like, it's a really big thing for people to actually see that these churches, these loving and accepting places of worship, aren't actually like participating in main society and are really gatekeeping a lot of the time. Like, several of the reactions she's gotten is, well, do you go to our church? No. Click. That's what I would expect, to be honest. Not that I think it's good, like the whole gimmick of what Jesus taught us is to give to others, but it's really unsurprising. Like, there's one time that I didn't go to regular service for like a month, but I was still going to my youth group every single week. I just didn't go to regular service because I was trying to start working in mornings when I was like 16 or something. And then I come back and there was like a good 5 or 6 people who were acting like I was brand new and were weird about it. For family drama reasons, my family stopped going to church a couple of years before this happened, and I was the only one who went still. So I went in the morning to go to like the regular service, and I'm getting dirty looks from people as if I'm like new or something, people I didn't recognize either. People are like, oh, are you new here? I'm like, no, like I've been here since I was a baby. Like, I did baby Jesus for a couple of years whenever we did our nativity scene. Like, I'm involved in the youth group. There's pictures of me on the wall on mission trips over here. It didn't help that I mostly went to church like dressing homeless instead of looking my absolute dressed best, because I was always dressing like really bummed out all the time because I'm a 17-year-old boy who doesn't care what he looks like. But in my head, neither did God. So why am I getting weird looks about it? My youth group would do like basketball and stuff pretty often. There's one time that I brought a white friend to basketball, and there's another time I brought an Asian friend to basketball. They didn't say anything at all the first time I brought the white friend. But when I brought the Asian friend for the first time, they were like, Tanner, do you really know this guy? Like, how long have you known this guy to just be bringing him here into our church? And I'm like, this is the friend I've known 6 years. The white guy I knew for like a month. And for those of you who are not like knowledgeable on Christian things, one of the things that you gotta do in a lot of churches is confirmation. It's basically like a bunch of Bible study you do leading up to being confirmed in Christ, and then now you're an official member of the church. Part of my confirmation is we had to go to other churches in the area. We let them know. We went as a youth group. And those other churches, very accepting, very cool. We went to like a predominantly black church. We went to a predominantly Hispanic church where mostly everybody spoke Spanish. And like, they were all really cool. And I got to like talk to a lot of cool people. My youth group didn't really care about talking to new people that much, except the Catholic church. But that one was more of, everybody was really obsessed with like demons and stuff at the time. So they just kind of kept asking questions about exorcisms. The main kind of churches you're going to go to that are going to like side-eye you are normally in the suburbs or in rural areas. Like, a lot of churches in downtown that are a little bit more like run down and they haven't been like freshly painted or whatever, pretty chill vibes most of the time. But if you're in like the suburbs, it's weirdly gatekeepy, and in rural areas that I've been to churches for, scary gatekeeping. And don't even get me started on any church that I've been to where I was going there because I was dating somebody who went there, and I was trying to like get to know and hang out with their parents and show them that I'm a good Christian boy who goes to church, and I'm going to your guys' church this week instead of my own church to like meet you guys and get to know you guys. That is never a good experience. But I really like this video series she's doing because it's just a good indicator of whether or not they're actually following like Christ's teachings, because that's a big thing, is Jesus and charity and helping people in need, and everybody's in need right now. People are saying this should be like the Super Bowl for Christians as SNAP benefits are down. And instead we just kind of see a lot of people being like, well, are you a member? If you're not a member, we can't help you. And I know a bunch of like videos showing this aren't going to be the death of Christianity and no one's going to go to church anymore, but I do appreciate it as like peeling back the veil of everybody talking about how like loving it is as a religion and how there's no problems whatsoever, when the reality is people are more of like using the church and religion as a shield than they are actually listening to the teachings of Christ.
This woman is going viral for calling up churches saying that my baby is starving, I've run out of formula, can you help me? All of the churches say no, except so far 2 black churches and 1 mosque. And I don't want to sell this, but this feels to me like our selling of indulgences moment, where like, you know, in the late medieval period, the church was selling indulgences, the bishops were living very lavishly, they were building these really, you know, grand cathedrals and the poor were starving. And it was very much part of the Reformation and kind of the decline of the power of the church because they were dressed in gold and people are starving. To the point where if you were just an average person, if you supported the church, it became like embarrassing. Like, you support that? Like, that's so embarrassing for you. Like, I'm embarrassed for you. So now we're in a situation where people are being affected by the government shutdown, and here's the chance for the churches. This is the deal that we made you, that you don't have to pay taxes, and in return, you're doing soup kitchens, you're doing, you know, homeless stuff, you're doing addiction recovery, you're doing, you know, you are providing service to the community. That's the deal that we made. And it's very clear, and love her videos going viral here, that it's very clear that you have not held up your end of the deal. So there is something here. I'm feeling a vibe here. It's like the combination of like the Wall Street Journal article that shows that the Mormon Church has billions of dollars. It's an investment wing. Not a single dollar of it goes to humanitarian aid. Not a single dollar of it goes to taxes. And then, you know, people calling churches and they just saying, you know, like, we can't help you. That's not what we do. And then you combine that with kind of a blue wave. We're starting to see some fractures with this power dynamic of church and state and Christian nationalism. And historically, why this is exciting for me, I got super excited when I kind of saw her going viral, is historically when trust breaks, the public demands either reform or kind of punishment. It's essentially her calling churches saying, you claim moral authority, prove it, and then kind of hanging up on her. This happened even in Spain in the 20th century where the church was hoarding. They had collected all of the land and they were hoarding the land and a significant amount of wealth. And they got enough public support that the state was able to basically force sell-offs of the church and basically say, no, this land belongs to the public now. We may be a long way from true reform. In France, for example, they actually removed the tax-exempt status from Jehovah's Witnesses and also like retroactively taxed them, which was really interesting. We may be a long way from that because when religion combines with politics, that marriage, it's just so powerful that it takes a long time in order to break that marriage up. But we're seeing some cracks, and I think it's positive.
Now, if I was a member of a church and I saw that woman call my church and say that her baby was starving and that she needed help, and saw that church say no to her, I would be raising hell. I would absolutely be raising hell. Because what do you mean the money that I'm tithing is not going back to help the community? Like, I know that some of it has to go to the pastor. I know some of it has to go to the church's staff. I understand that. They need to be paid. It's their job. But if the money that members are tithing is only staying within the church, that's a social club. That's not a church.
So when I was watching the video of that woman that was calling up those churches to see if they will help out her hungry child who's starving, if they can give any food. And there was a lot of American churches that said no. And when I was looking at that, I was thinking, like, if she called more immigrant churches, I feel like they probably would have said yes. And hear me out when I say this, especially the African churches, because I know in African culture as a whole, religion or not, we have a very collectivism type of mentality. So we help each other out in community. And we have like villages, so like the whole concept of villages, just like us helping each other out. When we cook food, we cook it in large pans so that we can feed everybody, not just ourselves. And I feel like in the American society, it's more individualistic as a whole. And I also feel like there is a distinction between the white America and the black America, because I also was in social work where I learned about black families. And what I know from black families is they also have the same thing, the same collectivism that Africans and other immigrants have in America. And we learned about the black church in particular because the black church kind of is what pushed a lot of social services that we know today. And it's a lot of our social work pioneers started with the black church. So the black church always have been seen as a charity-based type of church, the norm. So I was not surprised to see Black Baptist churches saying yes, they will help out. I also was not surprised to see white mega churches or white churches in the suburbs saying no. Because then again, that goes back to that individualistic mentality. I also was not surprised to see the Islamic center saying yes. Because again, it goes back into not only is it, they have like concepts of charity in their religion, but they also come from a different culture than Americans.
I'm a member of one of those churches that's going viral right now on TikTok, and I'm not going anywhere. Let's talk about it. Many would expect me to get on this platform and defend Living Faith Christian Center for its actions, especially because I am a member of that church. But I don't want to do that.
He then proceeds to defend his church for their actions. If y'all don't know, there's this creator. Her name is Natalie, I believe. I'm going to tag her below. But she is testing churches to see if they will help feed her starving baby for just baby formula. She's not even asking for money. She's asking them for baby formula. And his church is one of the churches that said no, didn't give her any resources, and proceeded to hang up the phone without any answers. I actually seen Natalie's video since the first day she started posting these. And this is why I love being just a low-key creator, because I get to see trends like this start up, and it is just beautiful how it ended up. And see, I never wanted to do a video about Natalie and what she's doing. It's because of this exact thing right here. It's because people that go to these churches, the pastors that are over these churches, if they see her videos and anybody else calls, they're just going to say yes just to perform. They're not actually doing it because they genuinely believe that they should be helping people out, as Jesus taught us. But everybody is making videos on her now. And again, chef kiss. I love being able to see this from the beginning. Now going back to my original problem. The problem is that people of the churches are now seeing her videos and they're getting online and trying to defend their church. This guy goes and says, well, not everybody is a representation of the church. The church is just a building, which is true. But the person answering the church's phone calls is a representation of your church. That is the person that y'all delegated to answer the phone calls for anybody who calls the church. So why wouldn't that be a perfect representation of your church? That is the first person that most people are going to see when they're trying to find out information about your church. So the fact that this person had the audacity to turn somebody down without offering them resources tells me a couple of things. Either y'all not teaching Jesus correctly in your church, or your pastor is telling your members that y'all can't help people, which goes back to the social experiment. People give tithes and offering for your church to help out the community and help out anybody in need. Jesus taught us that we should help out everybody in need, and your church failed. And you felt the need to get on this app and explain it to us. We don't need your explanation. We already seen this social experiment. You need to go to your church and explain to them that what they did is not a good representation of Jesus. And Natalie, what you're doing is the Lord's work right now. But unfortunately, my suspicions are correct. These churches are going to start seeing your social experiment because it's really popular now. And because they're more aware of this social experiment, I feel like their answers aren't going to be genuine. They're just going to be answering so they don't receive any backlash. But let me know what you guys think. I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.
I'm going to go ahead and start with my church and see how they respond.
Let me just say that the last time I looked at Nikaylee, it was 30 no's and 9 yeses. 30 no's and 9 yeses. Now this creator I just stitched, she had another idea and was like, okay, I'm gonna take that challenge. Let me call my church. So she had high hopes because it was her church, and they gave her the same runaround. Gave her the same runaround, even after she kind of begged and pleaded with them. No, we can't help you. And then I seen in the comments, somebody was like, oh, these videos are starting to get popular. The churches may just start saying yes or whatever because they know this is happening. But even if they do that, good. That's what they're supposed to do. I mean, isn't that the whole point? So we'll know. We'll know. Okay, start calling y'all churches.
Hey, so my baby is starving. I was just wondering if you could help out with any formula or... Hi, I was just wondering if you could help me feed my starving baby.
Shout out to Nikaylee for calling up them churches and mosques and synagogues and saying, where the money at, LaShonda. But at the same time, as a church secretary back in the day, we had what was called a petty cash drawer, right? For little runs, go to the Office Depot and buy some supplies and things of that nature. The secretary, whomever picking up the phone, may not have the level in terms of power to make a decision, an executive decision to go buy formula, but your ethical humanism needs to rise to the top. Going by the formula if this actually were a real thing to happen. But it speaks volumes that the mosques helped, and a historically black church in the South helped because we're just helpers. But let this be a lesson. Medea liked to give out money to mega churches that already got it. But the little storefronts and the little small church houses that could really use local support, he is overlooking for some reason. I'm just not making this about Tyler Perry, but just using this as an example about how we need to think critically about how we blindly support churches in 2025. Deconstruct your religion and analyze it from a critical standpoint and figure out where the plot holes are and decide how you would like to use your coin. Because if your deity says that you should go out into the nations and make everybody a Christian, why not make it go out into the nations and actually help people who are suffering? What would Jesus do? Y'all love that on y'all little bracelets. Why y'all not doing what Jesus tells y'all to do?